This video tutorial will teach you how to make a crab. First, we will crochet its main body, and then we'll crochet the other parts of the crab. At last, we'll assemble them together. This video tutorial will teach you how to make the main body of the crab and the tortoise. That is the middle donut. They are the same. The only difference is the crab needs to change yards. And the tortoise doesn't. First, work into a chain. Wrap the yarn around your little finger. Then bring it to your index finger. Pinch the yarn with your thumb and your middle finger. Tie a knot in the yarn. Put a hook under the yarn. Yarn around the hook counterclockwise. I will show you again. Put a hook under the yarn. Yarn around the hook counterclockwise. This is one loop on the hook. Pinch where the lines cross with your thumb and middle finger. Yarn around the hook. Put the yarn through the loop on hook. Put the yarn hard. Now let's start making round 1. In round 1, we need to work 52 chains. The first chain, yarn around the hook. Put a yarn through the loop on the hook. A chain is done. Let's zoom in. The V shape is a stitch. This is the back loop of this stitch. This is the front loop of this stitch. Place a marker on the back loop of this stitch. The second chain. Yarn around the hook and put the yarn through the loop on the hook. The third chain. Yarn around the hook and put the yarn through the loop on the hook. The fourth chain. Yarn around the hook and put the yarn through the loop on hook. The fifth chain. The sixth chain. The seventh chain. The eighth chain. The ninth chain. The 10th chain. 10 chain stitches are done. Continue to work the remaining 42 chain stitches in the same way. We will skip the repeated parts. "52 chain stitches are done. You can count the stitches if you are not sure. The V shape is a stitch. You can count the V shapes. Now find the first chain. We need to work a slip stitch in the front loop of the first chain. To join the circle together. Organize it. Remove the marker. Insert a hook into front loop of the first chain. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook. Hook the first loop and pull it through the second loop. Put the yarn hard. A slip stitch is done. Working a turning chain stitch first. Slip stitch and chain stitch are not counted as stitches number. We need to work 1 single crochet in the front loop of each chain. This is 52 single crochets in total. There are 2 V-shapes. One of them is slip stitch. The other one is chain. We don't crochet in these 2 stitches. Now let's work the single crochets. Insert a hook into front loop of the first chain. Hide the yarn tail by putting it on top of the hook. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook. Yarn around the hook and put the yarn through both loops on the hook. A single crochet is done. Let's zoom in. The V shape is a stitch. Place a marker on the both strands of the V. This is where we insert a hook to start the next round. The second single crochet. Insert a hook into front loop of the next chain. Hide the yarn tail by putting it on top of the hook. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook. Yarn around the hook and put the yarn through both loops on the hook. The second single crochet is done. The third single crochet. Insert a hook into front loop of the next chain. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook. Yarn around the hook and put the yarn through both loops on the hook. The third single crochet is done. The fourth single crochet. Insert a hook into front loop of the next chain. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook. Yarn around the hook and put the yarn through both loops on the hook. The fourth single crochet is done. The fifth single crochet. The sixth single crochet. The seventh single crochet. Seven single crochets are done. Continue to work the remaining single crochets in the same way. Until finishing 52 single crochet, we skip the repeated parts. 52 single crochets are done. You can look at the side. The V shape is a stitch. Then we should work a slip stitch to make the round end to end. Remove the marker. Insert a hook into the marked stitch. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook. Hook the first loop and pull it through the second loop. Put the yarn hard. A slip stitch is done. Round 1 is finished. Now let's start making round 2. In round 2, we're going to turning chain stitch first. A chain is done. From round 2 to 7, we need to work 52 single crochets in every round. This is to work 1 single crochet in every stitch. Insert a hook into first stitch and work a single crochet. A single crochet is done. Place a marker on the first stitch. We need to place a marker on the first stitch of every round. Insert a hook into the next stitch and work another single crochet. The second single crochet is done. The third single crochet. The fourth single crochet. The fifth single crochet. The sixth single crochet. 6 single crochets are done. Continue to work the remaining 46 single crochets in the same way. We'll skip the paddle parts. 52 single crochets are done. Now work safety to join the circle together. Remove the marker. Insert a hook into the first stitch. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook. Hook the first loop and pull it through a second loop. Pull the yarn hard. A slip stitch is done. Round 2 is finished. Continue to work round 3 to 7 in the same way. They are the same as round 2. We need to work 52 single crochets in every round. We'll skip the repeated parts. But if you are making a crab, you need to change yarns in the last stitch of round 7. If you are making a tortoise, you don't need to change yarns. Now we are working the last single crochet of round 7. There are 2 loops on the hook. Stop here. You can count the rounds if you are not sure. This is 1 round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We change yarns on the last stitch of round 7. Wrap the red yarn around your left hand. Leave a long of yarn tail. Pinch the red yarn in the back. Yarn around the hook. Put yarn through both loops on the hook. The yarn is changed. We only change yarns when making the crab. "52 single crochets in round 7 are done. Now work slip stitch in the back loop of the marked stitch. All in round 8 will work in the back loops of all stitches. Remove the marker. This is the whole stitch. This is the back loop of this stitch. This is next whole stitch. This is the back loop of the next stitch. Insert a hook into the back loop of the first stitch. Hide the yarn tail by putting them on top of the hook. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook. Hook the first loop and pull it through the second loop. Pull the yarn hard. A slip stitch is done. Round 7 is finished. Now let's start making round 8. First work a chain. A chain is done. In round 8, we need to make a set of 25 single crochets, 1 increase for 2 times. An increase means working 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And remember, we need to crochet in the back loops of every stitch in round 8. Instead of hooking the back loop of the first stitch and work a single crochet. A single crochet is done. Place a marker on the first stitch. Instead of hooking the back loop of the next stitch and work another single crochet. The third single crochet. The fourth single crochet. The 5th single crochet. Five single crochets are done. Continue to work the remaining 20 single crochets in the same way. We skip the head parts. 25 single crochets are done. Head yarn tail for a couple of stitches. Cut them off. Now work an increase in the back loop of the next stitch. An increase means working 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Instead of hooking the back loop of the next stitch and work a single crochet. A single crochet is done. Then work another single crochet in the same stitch. An increase is done. The first set is done. Second set. First work 25 single crochets. We skip the repeated parts. 25 single crochets are done. Now work an increase in the back loop of the next stitch. An increase means working 2 single crochets in the same stitch. 1 single crochet is done, then work another single crochet in the same stitch. An increase is done. Now work a slip stitch to join the circle together. A slip stitch is done. Round 8 is finished. Now let's start making round 9. First work a chain. A chain is done. Now work 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. Instead of hooking the first stitch and work a single crochet. The first single crochet is done. Place a marker on the first stitch. Instead of hooking the next stitch and work single crochet. The second single crochet is done. The third single crochet. The fourth single crochet. 4 single crochets are done. Then work an increase. An increase means working 2 single crochets in the same stitch. A single crochet is done, then work another single crochet in the same stitch. An increase is done. Now we need to repeat a set of 8 single crochets, 1 increase for 5 times. The first set, first work 8 single crochets instead of hooking the next stitch and work a single crochet. A single crochet is done. The second single crochet. The third single crochet. The fourth single crochet. The 5th single crochet. The 6th single crochet. the 7th single shade, the 8th single shade. 8 single shades are done. Then work an increase. An increase means working 2 single shades in the same stitch. An increase is done, the first set is done. The second set, first work 8 single shades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 single shades are done. Then work an increase. An increase means working 2 single shades in the same stitch. An increase is done, the second set is done. The third set, first work 8 single shades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 single shades are done. Then work an increase. The third set is done, the fourth set. First work 8 single shades. Eight single shades are done, then work an increase. An increase is done, the fourth set is done. The fifth set, first work 8 single shades. Eight single shades are done, then work an increase. An increase is done, the fifth set is done. Now work 1 single shade in each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 stitches are done. Now work a slip stitch to join the circle together. A slip stitch is done. Round 9 is finished. Now let's start making round 10. First work a chain. In round 10 we need to repeat a set of 9 single shades, 1 increase for 6 times. First set. Instead of hooking the first stitch and work a single shade. The first single shade is done. Place a marker on the first stitch. The second single shade. The third single shade. The fourth single shade. The fifth single shade. The sixth single shade. The seventh single shade. The eighth single shade. The ninth single shade. 9 single shades are done. Then work an increase. An increase means working 2 single shades in the same stitch. The first set is done, second set. First work 9 single shades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 single crochets are done. Then work an increase. An increase is done. The second set is done. Continue to work the remaining 4 sets in the same way. We will skip the petal parts. 6 sets are done. Now work slip stitch join the circle together. A slip stitch is done. Round 10 is finished. Now let's start making round 11. First work a chain. Now work 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 single crochets are done. Then work an increase. An increase means working 2 single crochets in the same stitch. An increase is done. Now we need to repeat a set of 10 single crochets, 1 increase for 5 times. First set. First work 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 single crochets are done. Then work an increase. An increase is done. The first set is done. The second set, first work 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 single crochets are done. Then work an increase. An increase is done. The second set is done. Continue to work the remaining 3 sets in the same way. We will skip the petal parts. 5 sets are done. Now work 1 single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. Five single crochets are done. Now work a slip stitch join the circles together. A slip stitch is done. Round 11 is finished. Now let's start making round 12. First work a chain. From round 12 to 17, we need to work 72 single crochets in every round. This is to work 1 single crochet in every stitch. Instead of hooking the first stitch and work a single crochet. A single crochet is done, place a marker on the first stitch. Instead of hooking the next stitch and work another single crochet. the third single crochet, the fourth single crochet, the fifth single crochet, the sixth single crochet. Continue to work the remaining single crochets in the same way. We need to work 72 single crochets in every round until round 17. We'll skip the paddle parts. Round 17 is finished. Now let's start making round 18. First, work a chain. Now work 5 single crochets. Insert a hook into first stitch and work a single crochet. A single crochet is done. Place a marker on the first stitch. Insert a hook into next stitch and work another single crochet. The second single crochet is done. The third single crochet, the fourth single crochet, the fifth single crochet. 5 single crochets are done. Now we need to work a decrease. A decrease means to combine 2 stitches into 1 stitch. Let's zoom in. This is the whole stitch. This is the front loop of this stitch. This is next stitch. This is front loop of the next stitch. We need to insert a hook in the front loops of 2 adjacent stitches separately. When working decreases, now I will show you. Insert a hook in the front loop of this stitch. Then insert a hook in the front loop of the next stitch. There are 3 loops on the hook. Hook the yarn and pull it through the first 2 loops. There are still 2 loops on the hook. Yarn around the hook and pull it through the last 2 loops. A decrease is done. Then we need to repeat a set of 10 single crochets, 1 decrease for 5 times. First set. First work 10 single crochets. Ten single crochets are done. Then work a decrease. Insert a hook into front loops of 2 adjacent stitches separately. There are 3 loops on the hook. Hook the yarn and pull it through the first 2 loops. There are still 2 loops on the hook. Yarn around the hook and pull it through the last 2 loops. A decrease is done. The first set is done. The second set. First work 10 single crochets. Ten single crochets are done. Then work a decrease. A decrease means to combine 2 stitches into 1 stitch. Insert a hook into front loops of 2 adjacent stitches separately. There are 3 loops on the hook. Hook the yarn and pull it through the first 2 loops. There are still 2 loops on the hook. Yarn around the hook and pull it through the last 2 loops. A decrease is done. The second set is done. Continue to work the remaining 3 sets in the same way. We will skip the braid parts. 5 sets are done. Now work 5 single crochets. 5 single crochets are done. Now work a slip stitch to join the circle together. A slip stitch is done. Round 18 is finished. Now let's start making round 19. First work a chain. In round 19, we need to repeat a set of 9 single crochets, 1 decrease for 6 times. The first set. First work 9 single crochets. Instead of hooking the first stitch and work a single crochet. The first single crochet is done. Place a marker on the first stitch. Instead of hook into next stitch and work another single crochet. The second single crochet is done. The third single crochet. The fourth single crochet. The fifth single crochet. The sixth single crochet. The seventh single crochet. The eighth single crochet. The ninth single crochet. 9 single crochets are done. Then work a decrease. A decrease means to combine 2 stitches into 1 stitch. Instead of hooking the front loops of 2 adjacent stitches separately, there are 3 loops on the hook. Hook the yarn and pull it through the first 2 loops. There are still 2 loops on the hook. Yarn around the hook and pull it through the last 2 loops. A decrease is done. The first set is done. The second set. First work 9 single crochets. Nine single crochets are done. Then work a decrease. Instead of hooking the front loops of 2 adjacent stitches separately, hook the yarn and pull it through the first 2 loops. There are still 2 loops on the hook. Yarn around the hook and pull it through the last 2 loops. A decrease is done. The second set is done. Continue to work the remaining 4 sets in the same way. We will skip the bridle parts. 6 sets are done. Now work a slip stitch, join the circle together. A slip stitch is done. Round 19 is finished. Now let's start making round 20. First work a chain. Now work 4 single crochets. Instead of hooking the first stitch and work a single crochet. Place a marker on the first stitch. The second single crochet. The third single crochet. The fourth single crochet. 4 single crochets are done. Now work a decrease. A decrease means to combine 2 stitches into 1 stitch. A decrease is done. Now we need to repeat a set of 8 single crochets, 1 decrease for 5 times. First set. First work 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 single crochets are done. Then work a decrease. The first set is done. Second set. First work 8 single crochets. 8 single crochets are done. Then work a decrease. A decrease is done. The second set is done. Continue to work the remaining 3 sets in the same way. We will skip the petal parts. 5 sets are done. Now work 4 single crochets. Four single crochets are done. Now work a slip stitch to join the circle together. A slip stitch is done. Round 20 is finished. Now let's start making round 21. First work a chain. In round 21, we need to repeat a set of 25 single crochets, 1 decrease, twice. First set, first work 25 single crochets, insert a hook into first stitch and work a single crochet. Place a marker on the first stitch. The second single crochet. The third single crochet. The fourth single crochet. The fifth single crochet. The sixth single crochet. Continue to work the remaining single crochets in the same way. We'll skip the petal parts. 25 single crochets are done. Then work a decrease. A decrease means to combine 2 stitches into 1 stitch. A decrease is done. The first set is done. Continue to work the other side in the same way. We will skip the petal parts. The second set is done. Now work a slip stitch to join the circle together. A slip stitch is done. Round 21 is finished. Now leave long yarn tail to sew up. The length of yarn tail is about 3 turns around the fabric. Like this. If you're afraid of it's not enough, you can leave it a little longer. Cut off the yarn. Put out the yarn tail. The main body is done. This is the main body of the crab. We have changed yarn in round 7. This is the main body of the tortoise. Now let's sew them up. They are sewed in the same way. Pass the yarn through the needle. Fold this part in. Insert needle into the back loop of the stitch. Then find the cross-bounding stitch on this side. Pass the needle through the cross-bounding stitch. Then insert needle into next back loop. And pass it through the corresponding stitch. Stuffle the filling cotton into the fabric. Stuffle the filling cotton while sewing. pull the yarn hard while sewing. Continue to sew every stitch in the same way. Stuffle the filling cotton while sewing. Don't miss any stitch. Remember to pull the yarn hard when sewing. Stuffle the filling cotton as much as possible. Continue to sew up in the same way. Always skip the paddle parts. Stuffle the filling cotton as much as possible. Like this. Now there are a couple of stitches left. Continue to stuffle the filling cotton into the fabric. Now it's sewed up. Hide the yard tail. Organize the fabric, like this. Continue to hide the yard tail. Cut off the yarn. The main body of the tortoise and the crab is done.